I love that because, wait, see, perimenopause. This is, I'm not going to remember.
Menopause.
Okay.
Yeah. You'll forgive yourself in this stage.
Okay, great.
You'll be mad at yourself here. You'll forgive yourself now.
Hi, I'm Lisa Joyner, wife of
TV megastar John Cryer.
Mega.
Yeah.
And I'm Morgan Walsh, married to
comedy legend and great actor Matt Walsh.
This is a podcast about what it's like when your significant other
is just a little too significant. Welcome to Plus One.
I cannot believe that this was born out of a discussion that we had. Sheer terror. No, not terror. Do you remember?
I did. Of course I do. It was 2 phone calls.
Okay.
The first phone call was from me to you saying, I am going to be your plus one,
Yes.
your and John's plus one
Yes.
to this party.
Yes.
It's a party that's, we can agree, is difficult to get into. There's a list. I was set to go with Matt, and then Matt had to suddenly go out of town, and even though my name was in print on the invite, it said I was the plus one. And when I read the fine print, I then had to make a second phone call to you saying,
With your dress on,
yep,
makeup done.
I can't go. I can't go.
And I'm
I
like,
can't go.
why? Why?
The idea that I would not be let in because I'm the plus one and Matt is not with me,
Yeah.
and that you and John would be standing there at the table trying to get in. I'd make us
Okay.
all plus ones by accident, basically. I couldn't bear it, so there's no way I could go.
But then we started having funny discussions, and we should say, I'm Lisa Joyner, and my husband is John Cryer. He did the show 2.5 Men. He was in Pretty in Pink. He's done a bunch of things.
I'm Lisa Joyner, and my husband, no, I'm Morgan Walsh, and my husband is Matt Walsh, and he's a comedian and actor on planet Earth.
And you may know him from shows
Oh,
like
you may
Veep.
know, yeah, you may
Like
know
Veep.
him from Veep, you can know him from the Upright Citizens Brigade, and every single comedy Christmas movie
Ever made.
for one line.
Yeah. Look it up. But that party was a real awakening for us because Morgan kept sending me photos of her at different events with Matt.
Which, might I say, like, I'm in a ball gown. I'm very dressed up, and I am behind him.
Yes.
Often on those red carpets, it'll be like, they want the single. They really only want the headliner.
Yes, yes.
But I like to work my way in there.
Well, because we spent all this time and effort on the way we look, and it's nice to get a good picture with your husband because it's usually all lit.
We need to give the people what they want.
That's
which is
right.
Us.
Which is us, yeah. And you guys. We started getting these pictures, and Morgan sent me this picture, and you guys will see it. This picture of her just standing in the background, and Matt like...
Yeah, he looks great, and I'm making a crazy face.
Yeah. And then we started going through our phone and going, look at this one. There's my arm.
Yeah. When
Yeah.
you sent me it's a paparazzi shot
Yeah.
at the farmer's market or something of John looking great.
Yeah.
And just this much of your arm.
I know, at least get the guns, man.
Yeah.
Get the...
We get cut out.
Yeah.
We're the plus ones.
Yeah.
We're in the shadows. We're foundational to the lives of our partners and to our own lives and to the people around us. And is anything I'm saying making sense?
It is.
Okay, great.
It is, especially to me.
Yes.
I understand, and it's just funny because then we started really rattling around with, is there something there? Because all these people we know, and many of them in our circle were wives of celebrities, but then we started to broaden out the idea of what is a plus one.
Best friends,
Yeah.
parents, children, siblings, and also in many industries other than Hollywood.
Yeah.
We all know what it feels like to be a plus one to somebody.
And I give that example of when I was in high school, my best friend was 6 feet tall, like in 8th grade. And so she just kept growing, and she was very gregarious. And at the time, I was very self-conscious and camera shy. What happened? Mm-hmm. We would walk into a room, and I would just slowly disappear because she was she was this big, boisterous, interesting person, and I was always her plus one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've all had similar experiences, no matter what. You hear about these famous doctors or authors or politicians that have somebody that plays the best supporting role. And then when you start looking at what they do, you're like, wow, they're amazing.
I love what John has said about plus ones, that they have to be very, very strong people. I mean, I hope I'm quoting him correctly.
You are.
Okay. But that he says plus ones have to be very strong people.
Yeah.
Because you take hits. We take we're brushed aside a lot. But that's because the stuff that we do isn't to be a headliner. It's to be who we are.
Yeah.
So we don't need that same feedback.
But you really do have to be secure in yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, I find that the people who have a real difficult time with it are usually not that secure with themselves.
Yes. And we feel great about ourselves.
I love me. You know, we've talked about this a few times about, you know, what our role is in the relationship, how we see ourselves in the dynamic that is our family, in our social circles and stuff like that.
And our professions. Like, how do you do your profession, have it bump into the other person's, or have it to be so different, but still have such a demanding life?
Yeah, yours and mine are slightly different, as is every plus one's experience. I mean, I have been with John since he was on the 2.5 Men. So when we got together, he had a stable acting job where he was in town. He came home for dinner. You know, it wasn't like he was traveling all over the place and then coming back in 3 months. So I sort of got used to that lifestyle.
And you were in the press.
Yeah, and I was an entertainment reporter. I mean, that's how we actually met the first time. We didn't get together because of that. We didn't get together until way after.
You're really leaning into that part of it.
That's his part, actually. I said, why didn't you, like, ask me
Try to
out?
hit on me, yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, oh, that's unprofessional. I'm like, oh, you're so cute. I had an experience. Yours was very different. Yours has been very different.
Yeah, Matt was out of town. I was pregnant before we were married. And we had the discussion.
What?
I know. It seems so strange to me because I don't mind. Like, I don't think about that at all.
No, I'm
but it was a deal with Matt's family. And we had that conversation of like, oh, you're the person I want to do this life with. He is older than me and had established himself, but he wasn't, you know, he hadn't done Veep yet.
Yeah. He wasn't fully baked.
He wasn't fully baked. You know, that happened when we had 3 kids under 5, and he was in Baltimore for 4 years, and it was a lot.
And it's still a lot.
And it's still a lot.
I mean, you navigate the world of being a plus one with poise.
Thank you.
You do.
So do you.
And thank you. It's not always easy. I mean, I remember when John was doing 2.5 Men and it was getting toward the end of the run.
The biggest entertainment controversy ever happened.
The biggest entertainment story I've been around for was when, you know, his show got upended because Charlie Sheen kind of went off the rails and stuff.
You can remove kind of.
Okay.
He went off the rails.
We live a very simple life. We're not fancy people, you know. We have good friends and we stay to ourselves. It's not, there's no paparazzi and all that kind of stuff. It's just he's a working actor. That's what he grew up with. His parents acted, his parents were playwrights. They worked. That's just the family business. When that all happened, it was really jarring. We were going through a lot at the same time.
Personally.
Personally, we were going through a lot, and we had I have a stepson, and there was a whole custody thing going on.
Oh my gosh.
The show was blowing up. My youngest child was just born. We were building a house. There were so many things happening, and he was very reliant on me at that point, because it was to a point where he would walk outside to get the mail and there would be somebody waiting for us to take pictures.
One of the first times I went over to your house, I don't know how we fell into it, but John was sort of recounting. A lot of time had passed, and he was recounting everything that had gone on. Yeah. And I looked at him because he is very even-keeled. And I said, did you get a ton of therapy? What did you do to deal with that? And he's like, I had Lisa.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I said to him, because what was so interesting about our relationship is that I was a member of the press. So he would say, you know, I'm just so tired of this and people following and they want to, you know, they call for interviews and stuff. And I said, don't you dare.
Don't you
not
dare
talk to them.
Oh.
I do not. He goes, I just want to walk, you know, I'm walking through and they're pointing cameras in my face. I said, don't say a word. Do not say no comment.
You can't even say no comment.
No, because what I said to him as a person in the press, it would be, you know, headlines saying, John Cryer comments on 2.5 Men scandal.
Even though
and it would be no comment. And it really did work for him.
So no comment is a comment.
It is a comment. And I said, trust me on this. This is the way we have to handle this. Don't give him anything, you know, because I know from being in the press, you know, what that's going to be like. So, you know, it's interesting how our, unique abilities played into each
Yes.
other's. And he's helped me so much in learning about the business and producing stuff together.
Well, hopefully whoever, whether it's friendships or a significant other, but really anyone that we come in contact with or have a relationship with, that we're there to sort of help each other grow, right?
Yeah.
So I guess I have learned some things from Matt.
Hesitantly.
Like how to farm chickens.
They have chickens. You have chicken. But we have a wonderful thing going on. We're very eco-friendly in that way. It's like I provide the scraps for the chickens,
yeah.
dehydrated scraps for the chickens. The chickens eat. Every once in a while, I'll throw in some of their shells. I don't know if that's cannibalism.
No, it's not.
It's good?
It's good.
Okay, cool.
It's calcium.
Good. And the other thing I wanted to say on my experience, I want to hear more about your experience, is, with John, I came into being a plus one at a weird point because I was on television doing stuff, and you're an actress, but I was a member of the press. So in one instant, I went from being behind the ropes at the red carpet, asking all these questions, to being on the other side and people screaming at me. And I was so confused. I was the worst plus one, worst wife, because I didn't know what was going on. And half of them were yelling at me because they knew me, because they were all my colleagues.
So they're want to say, hi, Lisa,
Yeah.
as opposed to Lisa, look over here.
And then they would say, Lisa, Lisa, Lisa. And I'd go, oh, hey, how are you doing? And they'd go, can you get John? Like, there were so many. I was the biggest mess. I didn't know what I was doing.
Did you know how to work your angles?
Well, a little, just because of TV.
Yeah.
But when you are completely blindsided like that, do they want to talk to me? Do I know them from the press? Are they trying to get to John? I was a mess.
Well, as you have seen from my photos, I simply just didn't know what to do with my face. even though I am an actor, was an actor, there's something particular about being a plus one and doing those kind of photos, and it's its own thing. And yes, my journey was very different. I think a big part that I don't often talk about is the fact that I was newly sober when I met Matt. And so I was in my late 20s, mid 20s actually, and I was really rediscovering myself. It was challenging, I will say, even though there were so many kismet things about the night that we met, and really it was from that point on that we were together. I really was also in the middle of wanting to get to know myself.
That's interesting.
And I had to disclose that. I had to be honest with him that was what I was going through. But I also knew or felt or sensed that this was the right path for me to be with him. And I think I've said, I then got pregnant before we were married. And I'd never been pregnant before. And let me tell you, there could have been times I could have been pregnant.
Yeah.
But I had never been pregnant, and I thought, oh, wow, this is it. And he was actually on a job on the East Coast, and I was here, and I called him, and I said, can you go somewhere, and private? And he said, sure. And I said, I'm pregnant. And he said, oh, wow, that is awesome. Right? And
that's sweet.
it was very sweet. And he was ready. And I was much more knocked sideways by the whole thing. But also knowing I was going to be on this path. And then just had to try to find my way. What does it mean to be a support for someone who is in demand or who has gone a lot? What does it mean to be a boots on the ground parent? That was all new to me.
And I think every woman goes through that who has children.
Every woman goes through that.
Yeah.
And also, I think we all, because we're human beings, and we're not only formed to give life to other human beings, we have our own lives and our own journeys to live out.
Yeah.
It's a tall order that society asks of us.
Oh, God, yes. We got a whole podcast in that.
Yeah.
It's interesting because we know each other very well, but knowing that you were newly sober in a new relationship, discovering yourself, how you are, who you are, without everything else. And then being with Matt, this new person, what a crazy time that must have been.
Yeah.
When you're in it, it probably doesn't seem, it's like, that's life. That's what, those are the deck we were handed. But looking back on it, do you ever go,
Yeah.
wow, that was a lot?
Yeah, I do now. And I laugh because I think about like an early date. We met in New York, but we both lived here. I think it was really our first official date. Our first get together, we watched
Key party?
Key party. We watched the New York City Marathon together, and that was great and very magical. But the first date at a restaurant, I hadn't unpacked any of this for him, and I was kind of on this like sober New York adventure. And he said he gets a glass of Chianti at his favorite Italian restaurant. He's like, "This is really nice. Try some." And I said, "No, thank you." And then he's like, "No, but just a sip. Like, you should really try it because it's great." And I was like, "No, I really can't." And then he's like, "Oh, you can't? How come?" And then I'm like, I'm an alcoholic. And just like on the first date to be
Let's
like,
go.
yeah, all right, let's just get into it. Much like our friendship.
Yes.
It's like, can we just get into it? And to say that no, I can't have that wine. I'm an alcoholic. Do you still like me?
Oh.
No.
And you are or have been a people pleaser in the past.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
was
wanna say
clear
are.
on that. I was clear on that's who I am and the way that I wanted to live. And if this new person wanted to be with me, then that might as well come out. I just didn't think it would be the first date.
Yes. My first date with John, I started talking to him about my digestion issues.
Oh.
It was date one. And I wondered why he didn't make a pass at me for like 6 months.
Were you also bringing up the digestive issues when you were interviewing him for press?
I was not.
Okay.
I did not. Those are quick.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
If anybody could
takes
squeeze
a
it in,
long
though,
time.
you could.
This takes a really long time to get to. I said earlier, I do not do the easy things. I do the hard things, but digestion, sleep, not so much.
So on your first date, you talked about, you were just you. You were just yourself.
Totally. I just was like, if you cannot deal with this, then we shouldn't go any further.
And he said, sign me up.
He's like, I'm there.
Was he doing triathlons at that time?
He was doing triathlons at that time. Bury the lead. Yeah. What?
I love that because, wait, see, perimenopause. This is, I'm not going to remember.
Menopause.
Okay.
Yeah. You'll forgive yourself in this stage.
Okay, great.
You'll be mad at yourself here. You'll forgive yourself now.
And then you can fill in whatever blanks I need filled
Exactly.
in. I know that you were doing something, he wanted to support it, but then didn't want to support it too much. But he was trying to make a good impression.
I did my only half marathon.
That's what it is.
Yes.
I knew
and I
there-
was doing it for, I think for the Arthritis Foundation or something like that. And we had just started dating, but again, didn't make a move, swore he was my new gay best friend. So he wanted to support me and give me money, to pledge, because they pledge or something. And he gave me $1,000. And I was like, holy moly. This guy likes me.
Yeah.
And he was going, is that too much?
Yeah, he
Like
was
apparently
really-
he was weighing like how much is too much and how much is enough. And
He wanted to make a good impression.
he did.
The second date I had with Matt in New York
Yes.
was Union Station has this oyster bar. And
Yes.
I had talked about it and he was like, okay, let's go there, right? And we get there, we walk in and the maitre d' there's a partition behind him. And the maitre d's like, hi, how are you? And 2 for dinner. And Matt's like, yes, 2. And then the guy looks and he's like, okay, right this way. And Matt slips him a 20 and is like, get us a good table. And then we walk around the partition, empty. The whole every table was available.
Oh, but did you get a good table?
We got a good table.
Oh, that's so sweet.
It's like, oops.
I kind of love him for that.
Of course.
That's really,
He's the
really
best.
sweet. And, I just want to talk about, the important stuff, us. No.
Yeah.
What I think is so fun in my life as I get older, I don't really have that much room for a lot of more friends. I've sort of built up a community or whatever, and it's just a lot of work. We have a lot of stuff to do.
Well,
with
it's
kids
also
and
the kind
everything.
of friend you are. You don't phone it in.
I do not phone it in, but I want to be a really good friend. How Morgan and I met was our 2 kids went to
School together.
when they were very young. fourth grade,
Elementary, fifth grade.
maybe fifth grade. And my child was new to the school, and at the time, my child had to take some medication during school hours. And so my child, very, very reserved and quiet and not gregarious, and sits back and watches and studies.
And not the story of my child who's very gregarious. And,
Yes.
Yes.
And
social ninja, we call him.
yes. And so mine was sitting down, and they came out and brought the medicine, and my child took the medicine, and then
my kid was like, "You take medicine? I take medicine."
what do you take medicine for? I take it for this. You take it for that. And they became like that immediately, right? They were such good friends because they wanted to spend all this time together right away.
And they both take medicine. And
Yeah.
there were things that were going on with them.
That we had to discuss.
Sometimes it's wise for the parents to touch base too.
Yes.
And I remember driving, I think you and I had maybe texted
Yeah.
and said, "Okay, I can talk later."
Yeah.
And then I found myself driving somewhere, and I just, when you answered, I was like, "Can we just get into it?" Like, we didn't know each other at all.
At all.
But it was like, "Can we just get into this right now?" And you said, "Yeah."
Absolutely.
And from that point on,
Yeah.
we've been getting into it ever since.
We have, hence this. I'm really excited to be doing this with you.
Me
I
too.
couldn't imagine doing it with anybody else. We've got some people in the books that are just amazing.
The humanity, right? Just people that we know and people we don't know that have incredible stories to share. And they are often behind the scenes. They're not necessarily the people that are looking for the spotlight.
Yeah, all the attention and everything. And some of them do have the attention, and some of them switch roles. The people that we've talked to or we're going to talk to have so much to say.
Yeah.
And anybody who watches is going to see themselves in it. I mean, it's fun. And we're having fun. We get to laugh and hang out and not wear shoes.
I'm not, I don't wear them when I leave here either.
No.
Right? I'm never wearing them. I'm barely wearing clothes.
That's season 2.
Well, I'm so excited that we get to do this show. That we get to talk to people, hear their stories, people who don't normally get to share about themselves and what they're doing, to bring people in the shadows into the light.
Yep.
Little bit, hear about them.
And what's really cool too is that we do hear from the headliners or the famous faces or the people that you recognize, but in a way that you've never heard them before, because they get to talk about what that person, their best friend, their spouse, their partner, their, whatever, their mentor, what they bring to that relationship. So it's a different dynamic. And I was an entertainment reporter for 15 years, and I did shows like that, and I've never done anything like this.
Yeah, there's a vulnerability.
Yeah.
The people who really see you at all hours of the day,
Yeah. Yeah.
in all states. We are so excited to talk to all kinds of people, and although we have a long list of awesome people we're excited to interview, we want to hear from our listeners. So, listeners, if there are people that you want us to talk to, do what the youngsters do, and DM us. Slide into our DMs.
Slide in, that's what they say. Slide into the DMs.
Do they still say that?
I don't
so.
know. I think it's tired. Tired's tired.
Oh my God. You're saying words I don't know. I mean, I know the word tired. I know the word tired.
You live the word tired.
I live the word tired.
Y'all, just tell us who you want to hear from.
Send a carrier pigeon. Somehow get us the names
Of anybody you think would be really interesting to talk to. I'm going to consider.
and maybe someone who could be Lisa's co-host.